Hi, everyone. Thanks so much for watching. If you are new to my Facebook page or my YouTube channel, my name is Ginger Pierce, and I am a master planner with Marvelous Mouse Travels. MMT is a diamond level authorized earmarked Disney vacation planner, and that just speaks to the level of like the volume of vacations that we plan to Disney destinations, but also the level of expertise that comes along with that. And welcome to our Marvelous Madness bracket reveal. This is something that we have done on my Facebook and my YouTube and Instagram platforms for the past several years. And we have different topics every year that we have you guys vote on. And so we have done Best Disney World Restaurant. We've done Best Disney Snacks in the past. We have done Best Disney Rides. And so this year we were really kind of going back and forth. Should we maybe move over to Universal and talk about Universal rides, or should we maybe focus on Disney World hotels? So we put it out there for a vote, and everybody agreed that Disney hotels was what you guys wanted to see this year. So we're super excited about that. Yay! I'm excited that you guys are watching along with us and that you're excited about it too. So thank you, Kim, for watching, and Bobby Joe and your family. Thank you for watching, and also Katie. I really appreciate you guys being part of this. And Leanne, hi, Leanne. So I love this part of what we do every year with Marvelous Madness. I love the fact that people get involved, people care, people want their opinions heard. It's always really fun. And so I enjoy, getting to see not only what you guys decide, hey, Ashley, but also just getting to interact with you and to spend some time talking about Disney, which is something that we all love. So we are going to reveal the bracket. Now, the bracket this year looks a little bit different than it has in years past because we're going to have some play-in games, for lack of a better word, because there are 21 on-site Disney World hotels, and so they don't fit perfectly into the round of 32 or anything like that you typically see in a traditional bracket. So we had to get a little bit creative, and thankfully I have Evan, my husband, to help me figure things like that out. Speaking of Evan, I'm going to go ahead and bring him on with me right now because he's going to be helping with the reveal of this bracket. So we're really excited to talk about the first round. Hello, Evan. Thank you for running everything and also being part of it.
My pleasure. It's my pleasure.
All right, so let's just jump into it. So, Ev, do you want to reveal the first round of playing games that we have here?
Absolutely. So, here's how we've broken this up, and I'm going to show you the bracket on the screen right now. I keep looking back and forth between my screens so that I can do this correctly here. So I'll zoom in. This is the whole bracket. As you will see, the top half of the bracket is going to be deluxe resorts. Hi, Kim, and hi, Katie, and hey, Bobby Joe.
Inside joke.
Yeah, you're muted. Ginger says it's an inside joke.
Inside joke, yep.
And then the bottom half of the bracket, you'll notice this group right here is going to be moderate resorts, and this group is going to be value resorts. And so I'm going to zoom in, and we'll kind of go through each pairing. So the first group of three, right up here at the top, those are going to be the monorail resorts. And so we will start out with I guess you could call it a playing game of the Polynesian and Contemporary. And then the winner of that will play the Grand Floridian.
And I think that makes a lot of sense because Polynesian and Contemporary are the two original, on-site hotels. And so it is cool to have them pitted against each other. And then Grand Floridian not only is the newest of those three, but it's also going through renovations as we speak. And so you'll end up having, three pretty freshly renovated monorail resorts that you're choosing from. So that's going to be, I think, a really interesting matchup there. So I'm happy with how this one played out.
And since you'll have the three deluxe Magic Kingdom area resorts in the rest of this part of the bracket, they will eventually meet the winner of Wilderness Lodge, the fourth Magic Kingdom area resort, and Animal Kingdom Lodge. The reason, you want to say why we put those against each other?
Well, yeah, I mean, those 2 resorts, although they're not in the same area, Wilderness Lodge is in the Magic Kingdom area, Animal Kingdom Lodge is obviously in the Animal Kingdom resort area, but they're very similar in terms of their architecture, the size of the rooms is very similar, so those are probably the best apples to apples comparison, that we could put together here in this category.
Yeah, so I'm going to show you an example of what Ginger means by architecturally they're similar. So what you're seeing on the screen right now, this is the interior of Wilderness Lodge, and then that big grandiose lobby, and then this is Animal Kingdom Lodge. You'll notice very similar, not like extremely similar, but grandiose, huge lobby, and so wood, obviously prominent throughout it, and so that's why those two are against each other. Kim already has a prediction. Just go ahead and put in, Polly is the winner. Obviously, a beloved thing. Leanne said both of those resorts are gorgeous at Christmas. Oh yeah, totally agree. Absolutely. Um, so then the other half of the deluxe resort areas right here. Uh, my personal favorite resort area, Ginger, would this be your personal favorite as well?
Absolutely, yeah, without question.
So the next resort area, deluxe resorts, is going to be the Epcot area resorts. And so, right all around the boardwalk there and the lake, you've got Yacht and Beach Club will go up against each other since they are almost, well, they are connected. And then the winner will play Boardwalk.
Yeah, Yacht and Beach Club are, in terms of their layout, almost identical. And they share a lot of amenities. So they share a pool. They are connected. Like Evan said, you can walk between the two and you don't ever have to go outside. But they're very different in terms of theming. Obviously Yacht Club has a yacht feel, beach is a more of a beachy vibe, but they're also different in how they were renovated. So Beach Club was actually the last resort to be renovated with carpet. And then when they started with the new renovation since then, they've renovated with vinyl flooring. And so Yacht Club has vinyl flooring. Beach Club has carpet. And so, for me, I'm not a huge fan of carpet in hotels. And so for me, I'm probably going to choose Yacht Club in terms of the rooms all the time. But Beach Club is actually closer to Epcot. So those are just so similar that we thought they would make a really good playing game because they are in some ways the same resort, but also very different.
Yeah, I mean, they certainly share a wall. They're right next to each other and they share a pool, the largest pool on site. And I think I have a photo of the pool. Yes, I sure do. So there's the pool at Yacht Club and Beach Club. Um, here's a photo of the Yacht Club. That's a real pretty photo. So that'll be a fun matchup there. A couple people, let's see. Bobby Joe said that her husband Drew said the walk from the Contemporary makes it the winner above all other resorts. It certainly is the shortest walk to Magic Kingdom. Beach Club and Yacht Club, if you're walking to Epcot, can't hardly beat those. But to Magic Kingdom, there is no shorter walk than Contemporary. Kim said she loves the Yacht Club too. Absolutely. It's absolutely beautiful. Um, Kim's talking about at Christmas time. Leanne had mentioned the Christmas decorations, the gingerbread house. And in most resorts, a lot of resorts have gingerbread decor and that kind of thing. The biggest one is at Grand Floridian. It's pretty impressive. Danielle said, I love the Yacht and Beach Club. That'll be a tough call. Totally agree. That's like one of the hardest, in my opinion, one of the hardest ones to pick from on here.
That's why we just put it first, rip the Band-Aid off. That's one of the hardest choices.
Well, and both have, technically Beaches and Cream as part of the Beach Club. And I mean, it's essentially part of the Yacht Club too. So food at both places is excellent. I mean, the Yacht Club, you do have, what's the Ale and Compass. Thank you. I was thinking the Yachtsman thing, but that's the other one inside the deal. Yeah. Ale and Compass is delicious. My son says they have excellent macaroni. Our son ranked the macaroni and cheese at all the different places in Disney World. He thinks very highly of the Grand Floridian's macaroni and cheese, and Ale and Compass was a very close second. So the last grouping of deluxe resorts are Saratoga Springs against Old Key West. So you've got a Disney Springs area deal right there, and the winner will play Riviera. Now, Ginger, why do we put those three against each other?
So those three resorts are deluxe villa only. So at like Beach Club, for instance, there are standard rooms, but there are also villas, which have like some of them have full kitchens and in-unit laundry and things like that's more of a condo style. At Saratoga Springs, Old Key West, and Riviera, that's the only type of room you have are those villa properties. And so they're either going to have a full kitchen or at least a kitchenette in those rooms. And they're great options if you have a larger family traveling together. You can have, in some cases, multiple bedrooms where people can stay. Saratoga Springs and Old Key West are literally like right next to each other. So they're both in the Disney Springs area. It's really easy to take a boat between the two. This is from a 1-bedroom villa at Saratoga Springs that we stayed in, goodness, I guess about a year and a half ago. And this was great because it had a full kitchen, but it also had separation between our bedroom and the living area where the kids were sleeping, because that sofa in that picture that you're looking at right there actually, like out of the wall, Murphy bed style, you have a queen size bed, and then you have a little twin that flips down underneath the television, and you have an eat-in area. There was in-unit laundry, which was great because literally as we're getting our luggage out of the car, our daughter spills milk all over her blanket. And so if I hadn't been able to, wash that, it would have smelled terrible by the time, it was time for us to go home. So I was just able to bring it in, immediately put it in the washing machine right there in our unit. And that was great. But Riviera is the newest of those villa style properties. And it's one of my favorite resorts on site. It's absolutely beautiful, kind of like a European feel. Being on the Disney Wish cruise ship very much reminded me of like a floating Riviera. They're both just very elegant and yet very comfortable at the same time.
And I want to show you, Ginger mentioned some of the large, if you have a large family, Old Key West might be ideal. This is a photo from one of the places we toured in Old Key West. It was the most spacious, most incredible resort room that I've ever seen at Disney World.
It was bigger than our first house.
Yes.
In terms of square footage. It was a 3-bedroom grand villa, 2-story. It slept, I think, up to 12 people, they said. So, yeah, I mean, literally our first home that Evan and I lived in together was not as large as this villa at Old Key West.
And you can tell by the photo that you're looking at. I took this photo, or we took this photo from the second floor, looking down on the huge open, living area. It was amazing. Fantastic. Let's see. We've had a few comments come in. Let's see. Kim said that I'm with Ginger. Love the flooring at Yacht. Yeah, totally agree. I 100% agree. Bobby just said Riviera, the best resort at Disney, in my opinion. It's a beautiful place. I mean, it is. We were sitting out on a balcony one time at Riviera. First of all, okay, now wait a minute. I'm going to say something right now. If this were a tournament on who has the best bathrooms in whatever Disney resort, this is no contest. It's the Riviera. Those bathrooms, like we stayed in, I don't even know what kind of room it was. That's why Ginger's our travel agent.
It was a deluxe studio villa. So it was like a preferred. So it had a queen size bed, and then it had one of those Murphy bed situations where it flipped down into another queen, and then we had a twin, and it had like a little kitchenette area. But the bathrooms in that were phenomenal. You can finish talking about the bathrooms; they were beautiful.
Oh, they were amazing. You're exactly right. It was just absolutely fun. There was one area that had the sink and stuff like that, and off to the left of it was a shower tub combo, and then the other side of that was a walk-in shower. So there were 2 showers I was like, this is amazing. It was absolutely fantastic. And so if this were a contest on best bathrooms at Disney World, it's not even a contest. It's the Riviera. But I mean, I agree with Bobby Joe. It is a beautiful resort. Absolutely beautiful. What I was going to say was we were sitting on the balcony watching the Skyliner go. And that's another thing that you got to figure out when you're voting on this stuff is like transportation and Being on the Skyliner, it have its own Skyliner station. That's pretty good. Leanne said, I love that you can do laundry in the room and at Saratoga Springs. Absolutely. That was another thing at Riviera. There was a laundry room like 30 feet down the hall from our room. It was amazing. Bobby Joe said, yes, agree with the Wish and Riviera comparison. Yeah. I can see that too. Kim said the Riviera is gorgeous. Topolino's Terrace is one of my favorite dining options at Disney World. So I'm glad that Kim mentioned that, because this photo right here was taken from the elevator, right outside the elevator at Topolino's Terrace. You can you see all 4 parks from there? If you go out the back, you can see 3, and then you go to the other side, you can see 1.
Yeah, you have to go around by the bathrooms to be able to see Cinderella Castle.
Yeah,
but yes, you can see all 4.
I mean, it's a really, really cool place. Character Meal, has it returned? Yeah, it has. Yeah. Character Meal there for breakfast at Topolino's Terrace. So that's going to be a strong one. I mean, it's going to be hard to beat that. Well, let's see what else we got going here. So that wraps up the deluxe resorts. So now we're moving on to the moderate resorts, which will be these 5 resorts right here. So to start off with, it would make sense that if you had to have a playing game, you would put the Port Orleans resorts against each other. Ginger, you want to explain those?
Yeah, so this is another situation where you have 2 resorts that are right next to each other. They're both in the Disney Springs area. They both have boat service directly to Disney Springs. You actually pass Old Key West and Saratoga on your way from the Port Orleans resorts into Disney Springs. You'll sail right past them. But they are basically 2 sides in a lot of ways of the same resort, but they are distinct. So Port Orleans French Quarter is a whole lot smaller than Port Orleans Riverside. So if you want a very walkable resort, that one is a great choice. Port Orleans Riverside, though, has rooms that sleep up to 5. So if you're a family of 5, that's a game changer to be able to put all of you in one room. They also have princess themed rooms over at Port Orleans Riverside, which they don't have at French Quarter. Also, Port Orleans Riverside has a table service restaurant, whereas French Quarter does not. It just has quick service. So you can easily walk between the 2. Like if you wanted to walk over and eat at the table service at Port Orleans Riverside and you're staying at French Quarter, you could totally do that. But they have different theming. One is more like kind of almost like a rural South feel, where you have like a bayou area, and then you have, like manor homes and things like that. And then the other is more obviously New Orleans, because it's Port Orleans. So the theming is different. The amenities are a little bit different, but the location is almost the same.
And these beignets might influence some people's decision. I'm just saying. These are found at Port Orleans French Quarter. And so these are the princess rooms that Ginger was referring to. This is at Riverside. Like Ginger mentioned, both are a boat ride to Disney Springs, and they'll be going up against Caribbean Beach. Now, I think Ginger would agree with this. The primary thing that Caribbean Beach has going for it, Skyliners.
Yeah. And also you have rooms that sleep 5 at Caribbean Beach too, which I know for families of 5, that's harder to find. You can't find really anything in the value levels unless you're in a family suite that's going to sleep more than 4. And it's not all the moderates offer that either. So this is a nice option for larger families. But I 100% agree with Evan that the Skyliner is, for me, the biggest draw to Caribbean Beach, because the main Skyliner station that like Pop Century and Art of Animation, which we'll talk about in a second, connect to, is right there at Caribbean Beach. But they're also in the process of renovating the rooms at this resort. So they have already renovated the common spaces, but now they're getting around to renovating the rooms. And the ones that I have seen that are completed are beautiful. They're themed after the Little Mermaid. They're super bright and airy and cheerful. And you really have 2 Skyliner stations at Caribbean Beach, if you think about it, because if you're on the side of the resort that's closest to the big Skyliner station, you can hop on there. But at the other end, Riviera is there, and Riviera has its own Skyliner station. So if you're close enough, you can just walk to that one and hop on there. So you've got at either side of the resort, you've got a Skyliner station you can take advantage of.
Yeah, I'm really glad you said that, because Caribbean Beach is huge. Like, it is geographically, physically huge. And so we walked it one time doing a resort tour, which, by the way, you can find that resort tour on youtube.com/gingermmt. Uh, Shameless plug. And so, walking it that day, I was like, man, this place is big. Um, but you're right. I mean, like if you're on the north end of the resort, you're literally right next to the Riviera uh, Skyliner station. So it would be very convenient. Ashley Evans said she loves the French Quarter. And Katie said, this is exciting. Staying in a royal room at Riverside in a couple of weeks. That's so exciting. Absolutely. That is very exciting. And Katie's daughter, I'm sure, is going to love staying in the princess room. Absolutely. So who will they be playing? Well, this I think this is probably the most lopsided matchup of any in the whole bracket, but I'm not going to say which way, even though it'd probably be kind of obvious because I don't want to influence anybody's votes. But they're going to take on the winner of Coronado Springs and the Fort Wilderness Cabins.
So here's my thoughts on that. Yes, those resorts are very different, but I don't think that it's necessarily as lopsided as you think, because at Fort Wilderness you have the cabins, which Fort Wilderness is really two resorts. If you think about it, you have the campground, which is what it sounds like. You can get a full hookup and bring your RV if you want to. You can do a pop-up tent site and camp there in a tent if you want to. But over on the cabins side, you have literally a little like detached cabin that you stay in, and it sleeps up to 6 people. It has a full kitchen. It has an eat-in area. It has its own, designated parking. There's a little deck outside with a grill. Like, it's great. And over at Coronado Springs, you have some larger suites that also will accommodate larger parties in their villas section. So I don't think that yes, they're very different thematically, very, very different resorts in terms of their amenities. They're different. Their locations are different. But what they have that is the same is that they both have the ability to sleep larger groups than the other moderates do.
And Coronado Springs also includes Grandestino Tower. Beautiful place. This is a room not in Grandestino Tower. This is in one of the outer buildings. But just to give you a little comparison here, you've probably heard Ginger on this channel say before, Coronado Grandestino Tower is probably the closest thing you'll get to a deluxe resort without paying for a deluxe resort. And just to kind of give you an example of that, so this is the lobby of Grandestino Tower. I mean, it's absolutely gorgeous. Here's the lobby of Grand Floridian. I mean, both are so huge and grand and just breathtaking. The detail and the architecture, and Coronado is going to be a tough one to beat. Now, like Ginger mentioned, the benefit of the cabins, this was the one we stayed at. Really, really a quiet experience. It was cool being out there. If you're a larger family, that's a really, really great affordable option for you. Let's see. Kim said the tower, though. Agreed. Yes. Absolutely. Katie was talking about her daughter in the princess room. She said, yeah, she might be a little bit more excited than me. That's awesome. So those are the moderate level resorts. Those are the moderates. So now we're going to wrap it up with the value resorts. Apparently my words are escaping me. Now, if you look here, you've got a group of 3 and then a group of 2. So immediately everybody should already know what the breakdown is going to be here. For our group of 3, it's the All-Stars. Ginger, why was All-Star Music given the first round bye there?
All-Star Music is the only All-Star resort that has family suites. So movies and sports just have standard rooms, but you have those great suites that sleep up to 6 people over at All-Star Music. So it gets a little bit of an edge because of that.
And we have stayed at one of those family suites, and it was very comfortable. Like it was a good little setup. And then to round it out, we've got Pop Century against Art of Animation. So that's going to be I think a really interesting matchup. I mean, Pop is just like larger than life stuff, man. Well, of course, so is Art of Animation, but I mean, it's just so cool. All the different decades and stuff, and all the memorabilia, photos, and the giant foosball thing. It's really cool. And then Art of Animation, you've got huge family suites, and you've got King Triton and Ariel, and it's that'll be a really interesting matchup. Both of which are on the Skyliner line. So you got Skyliner Resorts and you got the All Star Resorts. Ginger, so I'm going to ask the elephant in the room question. Why are the Swan and Dolphin not on the list?
So the Swan and Dolphin are Walt Disney World hotels. They are on property that is owned by Walt Disney World, but the hotels themselves are not Disney owned. They are owned by Marriott. And so for this, we limited the scope to just hotels on site that Disney owns. And so that's why we left Swan and Dolphin out. But if you are interested in seeing a little bit more about Swan and Dolphin, if you want to see resort tours of Swan and Dolphin, we have those on the channel as well. Just go to youtube.com/gingermmt, search Swan and Dolphin, and you'll get to see the resort tours that we filmed of those. Those can be great options. Some things work differently when you book Swan and Dolphin versus if you book a Disney owned hotel. And that's something, I'm not going to get into the complexities of that here, but that's why we did exclude those for the purposes of this, just because they're owned by Marriott. They're not actually owned by Disney.
And that's also why you use a travel agent right there, because she knows the complexities. So as we look at the list, we got a couple more comments came through. Bobby Joe said movies is my preference. And she said, you can't go wrong with a Skyliner. That's exactly right. Man, it's so convenient. If you haven't taken advantage of the Disney Skyliner, I would strongly recommend it. Even if you're going between Hollywood Studios and Epcot, like coming into the back of Epcot on the Skyliner over the France Pavilion, it's so awesome. One thing that we did not mention yet that I think will be very interesting are a couple of the amenities at a couple of the deluxe resorts, and if they push those resorts over the edge. For example, we did not mention the Savannah at Animal Kingdom Lodge. That's obviously going to play into some people's voting. At the Polynesian, they've got the Polynesian bungalows that have a deck and a small little pool area, hot tub area. I guess it's a pool, isn't it? It's a pool. Overlooking, there's the Magic Kingdom behind it. Here's the inside of a poly bungalow. That's the bucket list right there for me personally. One of those bungalows. So, those are things that could be X factors that push certain resorts over the edge. To only time will tell. I think those are. Oh, one other thing that we didn't mention. Saratoga Springs. Ginger, you want to tell everybody what we're looking at right here?
So these are the treehouse villas, and back in the day, these used to be housing for the Disney College program participants, but they actually, moved that elsewhere, and they renovated these to be like little houses that you can stay in. And so these are 3-bedroom villas. They have a full kitchen. They're great for larger parties, and they're technically part of Saratoga Springs, but they really kind of are their own thing. They have their own pool. They're a little bit offset, but they're right on the Sassagoula River, which is the river that runs from Disney Springs all the way up to the Port Orleans resorts and back. So super quiet and tranquil back there. Absolutely beautiful views. So those are something that's really unique. And also there are cabins, like bungalows, for lack of a better word, at Wilderness Lodge too, the Copper Creek cabins, which, you can sometimes get right on Bay Lake and have a view, over towards the parks and everything. It's beautiful there. So some of those do have larger villas or even like little houses that you can stay into.
I'm going to give one last little plug. So this is the room that Ginger and I stayed in at the Beach Club recently in December when we went down for our 15th wedding anniversary. And you will notice it's a corner room with windows and a little balcony. Man, it was amazing. We have a tour of that room on Ginger's YouTube channel right now. So youtube.com/GingerMMT. If you're not watching it on there, you can find that. We did have a couple more comments come in. Leanne said, I love riding the Skyliner at nighttime into Epcot. Totally agree. The lights, oh man, it's beautiful. Uh, uh, Gusteau's is all lit up with Remy's Ratatouille Adventure back there. It's really, really cool. Kim said, I love the Skyliner. Staying at a resort with it or monorail is must. Totally agree. It makes it so convenient. After a long day of walking in the park, the last thing you want to do is walk a whole bunch after it. So you just ride the Skyliner back, man. It's awesome. It's so convenient. Bobby just said, you can't go wrong with any of these resorts. Nothing like staying on property. Amen, sister. You can. I did not realize how much I valued convenience until we started doing like different Disney resorts, and I'm like, wow, that Skyliner makes this so much easier. It's very, very, it's a game changer. It's very convenient. So Jen, why don't you tell people which matches we're going to be voting for tomorrow?
Yes. So tomorrow, first of all, let me talk about how you're going to vote. So the voting is going to be in my Facebook and my Instagram stories. So make sure that you are following me at facebook.com/gingermmt, or at Instagram, I am at ginger_MMT. So make sure that you're following me on those platforms, because you'll be going to my stories to actually cast your vote. And I will probably post those, to go live at like midnight. So if you want to stay up, sure, go ahead and stay up. You can get your vote early, or you can, anytime during the day tomorrow. But we will only be voting on those play-in games. So Ev, if you could pop that bracket back up there for me, we will be voting on Polynesian versus Contemporary, Yacht Club versus Beach Club, Saratoga Springs versus Old Key West, Port Orleans Riverside versus Port Orleans French Quarter, and All Star Movies versus All Star Sports. So those will be the ones where voting will open tomorrow, Monday, March 13th. And then we will be going live again on Tuesday, the 14th, to reveal the results of that. And then we'll let you know on Tuesday, which matches we'll be voting on Wednesday. So we're just going to kind of go sequentially, like every day to get through this bracket this year. The only time that we'll have 2 days worth of voting is when people are voting in the championship match. We'll wait a couple days before we go live just to give people time to get those championship votes in. But we're really excited about this. I think this is going to be a really fun one.
Yeah, I totally agree. It's going to be awesome. So tomorrow, everybody, keep your eyes out for Ginger's Instagram and Facebook stories to vote on these matchups. And then Tuesday night, we'll go live to reveal the winners. And then you'll vote on this round on Wednesday. So tomorrow, there's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 matchups. And then on Wednesday, there will be 8 matchups. So that'll be our Sweet 16 on Wednesday.
Yes. And so, again, make sure that you're subscribed on YouTube so that you can catch those lives, and that you're following me on Facebook and Instagram so that you can cast your vote. We're excited to see where this goes. And Evan and I are going to try to remain neutral and try not to influence people's votes with our votes. But, it's going to be impossible to leave our opinions completely out of it. But I see Katie's excited. Daniel's excited. I'm excited too. I think Kim's excited. I think it's going to be really fun. So thank you guys so much for watching.
Say one last thing? I'm
Yeah,
sorry.
absolutely.
I'm sorry. I just you jogged my memory when you said that about us voting. So if you'll recall, last year we didn't vote because we ranked them. Last year we did the restaurants, and so we ranked all of them. Or yeah, that's what we did. Last year was restaurants. Yeah. Well, one of the 2 years we ranked them for the rides or the restaurants. One of the 2 years we ranked them, and one we didn't. So the year that we didn't, we voted too. But the year that we did rank them, we didn't vote because that was our vote when we ranked them. Well, we didn't rank these. We just matched them up as far as like, area and similar amenities and stuff like that. So we're voting this year, baby. And so each one of us will vote too. And we'll probably let you know our votes on the reveal shows. But we'll show you the results and the percentages of how many pick this one, how many pick that kind of stuff. Okay, I'm done.
Yeah, well, I was just going to say thank you all so much for watching. And we always really appreciate the support and the engagement that we get with this every year. It's a lot of fun to hear people chime in with their opinions. So please make sure that you cast your vote starting tomorrow, and then make sure you jump back on and join us live on Tuesday night. We'll let you know closer to that exactly what time we're going to be going live. It's probably going to be around around 8:30 or 9 because we got to get kids in bed and everything because it's a school night for them. But probably around 9 p.m. is when we'll go live on Tuesday night to let you know the results of the play-in round. But thanks for watching with us today, and we hope you guys enjoy the rest of your weekend and cast those votes tomorrow. Thanks.